Good afternoon, friends, and thank you very much for coming here for this interaction. As is usual, I have an announcement to make, and following that, if there are any questions on that announcement, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, on any other thing that you would like to ask. The announcement relates to the visit of the External Affairs Minister, Sri Salman Khurshid, to Hungary. The External Affairs Minister is currently in Hungary for bilateral talks with his Hungarian counterpart, Mr. János Martonyi. Also, he is preparing for a high-level visit from Hungary later during the course of this year. We expect the Prime Minister of Hungary to visit India before the end of this year, and the talks are related to that visit too. Perhaps, as you are aware, India and Hungary have traditionally very good relations. Hungary was amongst those countries which supported India's permanent membership of the Security Council, also in an expanded Security Council. It also has been forthcoming in their support at the NSG for the waiver for the civilian nuclear agreement in 2008. We have approximately an investment of $1.5 billion in Hungary. About 8,000 Hungarians are employed in Indian companies. Also, my understanding is that while the bilateral trade is something like $650 million, it's weighted in favor of India, with Indian exports outweighing imports from Hungary. As a measure of the extremely cordial relations between India and Hungary, the External Affairs Minister has also been invited in a rare and special gesture to address all their heads of mission who have gathered in Budapest. He will be addressing their annual conference of all Hungarian heads of mission in Budapest on Indian perspectives and of an Indian approach to foreign policy. This is a signal honor. This was the first time that a foreign minister from Asia was invited for this sort of opportunity to speak to Hungarian heads of mission. Apart from that, the External Affairs Minister will also be inaugurating an exhibition of Amrita Shergill paintings. Amrita Shergill is a common daughter of India and Hungary. She is of one of her parents was Hungarian, the other was Indian, and External Affairs Minister looks forward to strengthening these aspects of our relationship. I think that's all I have in terms of the announcement to make. If you have any further questions on this, I will answer. Otherwise, on anything else. Let's start with
any agreements or any kind of subjects or any kind of MOU signed.
I think I mentioned to you that we expect the visit of Mr. Viktor Orbán, the Prime Minister of Hungary, later this year to India. And therefore, it is traditional for us to work towards any agreements that we have for such a visit. That said, as you are also aware, Hungary is an important member of the European Union, and of course, they will discuss, among other things, the free trade agreement discussions that are going on between India and the EU. Well, if there are no questions on Hungary, if there are any questions on anything else. Yes, just a minute. Dr. Anshuman Suman.
So there is a regime change in Bhutan, and now do you think that there is something going from Indian side to Bhutan now?
I don't know whether the word that you use is the appropriate word for consolidation of democracy in a nascent or young democracy. As far as we see it, this is consolidation of democracy in Bhutan, as this was the second democratic election there. And therefore we welcome that. As you are aware, India and Bhutan have special and unique relations, and therefore Prime Minister has yesterday written to the leader of the party which won a majority in the Bhutanese elections. My understanding is that there are another 8 days which are given for any of the candidates to lodge any complaints or any other petitions against these results, following which a government will be in place in Bhutan. And we expect to take the matter up because we have, as you are aware, extremely close relationship, and the Prime Minister in fact has invited the leader of the majority party to visit India, but even otherwise we expect intensive consultations with Bhutan as soon as the government is in office there.
Actually, my question was related to the subsidy component that was taken away from Bhutan. So can we see any forward movement on that?
I'm grateful that you clarified your question. That said, I think we need to understand that the issue of subsidy relates to the delivery mechanisms of India's development partnership with Bhutan. It has no political or other implications or intentions. That said, we will certainly engage with Bhutan on this, and we have previously said that it is not the intention of India to in any way adversely impact on the poor in Bhutan or on people in Bhutan in any manner. And that's the broad parameters under which we work, and we certainly will look forward to engaging on this matter as soon as possible. I hope that clarifies. Yes, Manish.
When is U.S. Vice President Joe Biden expected to visit India?
My understanding is that there is an advanced team right now in Delhi. They're working out the details. It's expected to be, we will make a formal announcement, but it's expected to be in the last third of the month. That's between 20th and 30th. We will make the formal announcement once the small I's are dotted and the T's are... If there was somebody else. Yes, Geeta.
There were reports of a fresh air incursion into the Indian airspace by the Chinese. Anything on that? Are we taking it up with the Chinese?
Geeta, as you know, these are all operational issues, and these are best addressed to those who are handling these operational matters. If I may just say that in terms of our previous experience, whenever you have come up with these news items about possible differences in terms of where the line of control is and perhaps Chinese troops impinging on our side as we perceive it, these have been taken up at different levels. They need not be taken up at the diplomatic level, but there are several other levels of interaction between India and China, and these have previously been taken up at those levels. All right.
Just coming back to Joe Biden's visit, wanted to get an update on the play of nuclear negotiations. Supposed to do an agreement by the time he lands up here.
I did not
the
hear.
Commercial agreement, for the supply of...
Is that what was said?
Yes, it was
By
there in
whom?
the joint...
Yeah, just...
No, I'm asking for the progress.
Pardon?
Since John Kerry's visit, has there been any progress in that?
Yeah, you will hear about it at the time. As I said, we always try and time these so that they are available for all of you to provide in terms of news during the visit. So when we have the visit, we certainly will provide you an update of where we are on that. Yes, Maria.
Good afternoon. After the interrogation of the two Marines of the 10th of July, there is some people from India going to Italy in this matter?
Maria, as you are aware that the special envoy of the Italian government was here recently, and the issue of trying to overcome difficulties in speeding up the trial were discussed. One of those issues relates to what you have indicated. There are several options on the table, and this is being discussed between Italy and our authorities who are charged with the investigation, because these also involve issues of a legal nature of it being acceptable to courts. So at this stage, there are several options on the table, including what you have mentioned as one of the options. There are other options too available, and we will take it up once that decision is taken on which of these options is the viable option, both legally and in terms of the investigating authorities finding it appropriate. Mr. Venkatnarayan.
Akbar, yesterday the Hindustan Times ran a report saying that Sri Lanka was offered a comprehensive nuclear pact by India, and one round of negotiations have taken place. But there hasn't been a comeback from Colombo since then, and the report suggests that they're looking at a similar kind of agreement from Pakistan. Are you in a position to say anything about that? Thanks.
I can certainly tell about our nuclear cooperation pact or discussions with Sri Lanka. I do not know about any other aspect, but the point is our approach to this entire issue is in terms of nuclear safety. And nuclear safety is not exclusive, or it's an inclusive concept. And therefore, if there are agreements between a country and another country on nuclear safety issues, it's all to the good. As far as our agreement is there, it's on the table. There have been discussions with Sri Lanka on this. And we will let me also tell you that nuclear is a sophisticated technology which requires enormous infrastructure. This sort of starting from scratch and then going up to speed on nuclear takes, in several cases, at least a decade. So we will have to understand that the sort of things that a nuclear arrangement entails are not only in terms of cooperation in physical terms, but also legal issues. It also means training. It means understanding of global legal norms, liability, etc. So it comes with a paraphernalia which is fairly comprehensive. It requires immense cooperation globally. Ultimately, the nuclear value chain is global in nature, and therefore any country which endeavors to move on the nuclear path does cooperate with a variety of suppliers and those who can assist and cooperate in that endeavor. So we need to understand this in that broader paradigm rather than in terms of any sort of a competitive arrangement of any sort. These are not exclusive arrangements that any one country has with the other. Yes, Vishal. Just a minute.
Is there any update on the Pakistani response to the calendar for the resumption of the dialogue?
My understanding is that when the special envoy of the Pakistani Prime Minister, Mr. Shahryar Khan, came here, we exchanged views. He has gone back with an understanding of our views on this, and we will now take it up when we receive a response from Pakistan on that. Because as you are aware, the third round of the resumed dialogue started sometime in September with a meeting of the Commerce Secretaries. Another meeting was scheduled for I think for the Vular Barrage. That did not happen, and that's the meeting that's now which needs to be taken forward, along with various other meetings in the resumed dialogue format. We are in discussions through diplomatic channels for those. Thank you very much.